say, my prediction is by the end of 26, YouTube in the United States on TV by itself will be bigger than all of broadcast combined. So my next story is about YouTube, but it's actually about
Of course it is.
yeah, I know. YouTube. But it's about actually YouTube's place on the television dial here in the United States. So the July gauge, Nielsen gauge just dropped, and YouTube now has almost 13.5% of all television viewing
Getting close
just
to my
on
bets, huh?
TV.
I said
Yeah,
15 now.
that's right. You said 15. That's right.
4 more months. Let's
4
see.
more months. I think they're going to hit it. I think you're right. So they're at 13.5%. And so there's a couple of different things to look at that. First of all, they're distancing themselves from the field. Second place is now further away than they've ever been. Disney is now under 10% of total market share. And remember, that's YouTube versus all of Disney. The other thing to remember about this YouTube number is it does not include YouTube TV, their cable product. It does not include shorts, and it does not include anything but the television set.
Yeah.
So 13% of all TV viewing before YouTube TV here in the US. And still we have people here talking about how, well, it's just a waste of time, Ted Sarandos, or it's not TV, but if it's on the TV and it's taking up that much mind space, it is television. The other thing to note about this is that's YouTube, which means that's really 4.5 million channels within YouTube sharing that voice. And 1 million channels take up most of that time. About 98% of all YouTube viewing comes from just 1 million channels. But think about 1 million channels of fragmentation. And then the Disney number is Disney and Hulu and Disney Plus and ESPN, and NBC is NBC and all their cable channels, including Ms. Now and the rest. And it's getting more and more fragmented.
Yep.
The other big point I would make about this is YouTube and Netflix alone. So Netflix had a very good summer. They're suddenly bouncing back a little bit after months and months and months of plateauing. But those two combined, if you take YouTube and Netflix combined, they are now much larger than all of broadcast in the United States combined. Together, they're about 22.5%, Netflix and YouTube. All of broadcast in the US is about 18%. By the way, when you take YouTube and Netflix combined, they're at about 22.5%. They're on the same par. They're equal to all of pay TV combined. And the idea that the traditional ecosystem is going to be able to survive based on what they're doing today is just ill-founded. By this time next year, I think YouTube will be bigger. You've made a prediction, which is they'll be at 15% by the end of this year. I think you're right, and I think you're only wrong because maybe too low. I think by this,
Do you think it can be more than 15?
they have the NFL. They have the first NFL game of the season.
Yeah.
They have NFL Sunday Ticket, which doesn't actually play into that number. But yeah, I think they're
Point
only 1.5 away from 15%.
Yeah, I'm regretting not putting some money
A higher number?
asking something from you or anyone else on this, because on a
We didn't bet anything.
yeah, we didn't. I'm not good. I wasn't in Vegas in Jan. I should have bet something there. But so just one thing: why is YouTube TV not included in here? What's
The reason why YouTube TV, that is a great question. The reason why YouTube TV is not included in there is because Nielsen counts the viewing on YouTube. So when you think about YouTube TV, it's cable and pay TV, right? And so that's lots of channels that aren't YouTube. There's no YouTube in YouTube TV. It's NBC and ESPN and CBS and, Comedy Central. And so viewing from YouTube TV is actually reallocated into the other companies. So YouTube TV viewing of NBC is in the NBC count, and YouTube TV viewing of ESPN is in the Disney count. So you can't double count it. The one thing I will say, my prediction is by the end of 26, YouTube in the United States on TV by itself will be bigger than all of broadcast combined.
I have to say, I find that scary. I love YouTube, but I also have. I love a bit of competition. I love broadcasters. I still watch TV.
No, but I think we look at it different I think we look at it incorrectly when we look at it as a scary thing, in that It's not YouTube. It's not their content.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you're about to get into the share of voice on YouTube, and by Barb's measurement, it's YouTube is making money on it, but so is everybody else. And so I look at it like Comcast. It's the new Comcast. It's the new Charter. It's not YouTube content. It's everybody else's content on YouTube.
Yeah, yeah. The only challenge, and we've spoken about this when we were in Cannes, right? And we spoke to Pedro Pina about that, VP YouTube EMEA. The fact that, and this is what everyone is saying, the amount of money you make on there for an hour of YouTube and an hour on TV, I mean, it's tenfold, if not more, right? So my challenge is, and that's where I think it's scary, is I'm worried that that the ecosystem could crumble, right? Because it's again, dollars versus cents, kind of
Yeah,
on
I,
streaming.
I will. I will push back on that. There's two elements. One, YouTube. The more dominant they become on television, the higher their CPMS are going. That's one, and then two, that's entirely in your own hands. And so if you lean into it the way that BBC Studios has, or the way that other players have, you can sell it and you can make as much money as you'd like, but you have to really lean into it. The issue is none of the big publishers have really embraced this new distribution platform the way that they should or need to. And until and unless they do, in 2019, Disney went into streaming. Finally, they were drug into it,
Yeah.
right? And they changed the nature of the streaming ecosystem overnight. I think we're months away from Disney leaning into YouTube the way that they leaned into streaming. And I think when they do that, everybody else, as they do, herd in behind Bob Iger. And I think we'll see a real transformation of social video as a platform.